Hello, everybody. My name is AJ.
I'm Liz.
So welcome to our podcast where we watch Star Trek. Today, we're talking about the season 1, episode 4 or 5.
It was
5. It was 3?
Yeah.
That's not right.
No, I'm correct all the time. It was 3.
It might be 3, it might be 4. We're going to get hate
It was
mail.
Captive Pursuit.
Yeah, the episode Captive Pursuit, if that helps anybody.
That was
We watched that.
friggin' episode.
Now, I had the dumb idea to just start the podcast because we already watched it, and the consensus pretty much was that season 1 sucked. So I didn't think we'd have to go back to watching it. I was wrong. This episode rocks. Like, this episode is so good, especially if you like O'Brien. This episode is amazing. Like, O'Brien has episodes now, and it's awesome.
I like how O'Brien's just such a soft little guy. He's got no hard lines. He's got fuzzy hair.
Oh, just wait.
Season 1 wasn't that good. We don't have to go back and watch. I haven't seen much. This is good.
Oh, yeah. You really like Deep Space Nine so far.
Yes.
So, okay. You might be asking, viewers, why are you starting with episode 4 instead of episode 1? First of all, episode 1 is an hour and 30 minutes long.
This is a pilot, y'all. We ain't.
Yeah, look, that's a movie review. That's a whole movie review right there.
That's
honey. Like, I am.
Honey.
No, let's go through I have some notes. You have some notes. So let's get those out. Let's talk. Do a play-by-play, I guess.
We took.
So first of all, if you need an episode to prove that O'Brien is a really good character, this is the episode to watch.
It was there were so many ins and outs of the morals of what was going on.
Yeah, that's what Star Trek really does well.
There were so many just moral theories happening with especially the Prime Directive.
Yeah.
That's
something I want to bring up. Don't worry. I like this episode, but I can see why maybe a Star Trek fan would be fuming over this. But again, the Prime Directive is it's a plot device. It's not something that's supposed to be taken 100% seriously. But let's start at the beginning of the episode. So it immediately just starts with...
I was going to say, should we introduce... I don't know that much about Star Trek.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode, so we still are working at the kinks. Liz hasn't really watched Star Trek. She has, but not all the way through.
No.
Not as a series. You used to watch Star Trek with your mom, right?
Yeah, I used to watch Voyager with my mom. If I was up late.
Underrated series, just to...
Dude, fucking Janeway.
We are going to do Voyager.
It's
and then
so
we're going
good.
Yes.
Can we bounce around? Different... I don't know. Listen.
Well, let's finish a season of this first, then we can maybe move over to Voyager. But then we're going to have to meow the Voyager theme.
Oh, yeah. Well, what do you mean? That's not a downside. We get to do that. Dude.
Oh, yes. So we do own cats. The joke is that I'm the captain. Liz is the first officer. Linus is the ensign.
My
orange
fluffy
cat.
My orang.
Mm-hmm.
Resident orang. My orange, fluffy, long hair, regular-sized cat.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I know, but your cat isn't regular-sized. Fuck you.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, and then we have the treble, the resident tribble.
The treble.
The tribble.
She's a calico.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. This cat's a little fucked up. It was born without a tail. She was born without a tail. She has unusually long legs. Well, but she's also the smallest cat I've ever seen.
It's specifically a Manx cat. They were bred because, it looks so cute with the, like...
We don't need to get into the morals of breeding right now.
The long back legs, and she's got long back legs and short little front legs.
Yeah.
She's great. Anyways.
Yes.
I was going to say, if we're talking this much about our cat,
no, well, I figured...
to be a part of it.
Okay.
Can Linus and Nugget be, like, the photo?
Oh, no, we're getting a whole, like, crew together. Like, Sean, he's our friend. He's going to be joining us for a couple episodes because he hasn't actually watched any of Deep Space Nine. So we might actually go back, maybe do like a little bit of a bonus episode for his reaction. Because this episode's amazing. If you guys hear meowing in the background, I'm so sorry. Apparently it's social hour for
no, that's why
the damn cats.
That's why the cats have to be involved in it, is because they won't shut up, and so like we have to like talk about it.
Yeah. The microphones are pointed this way, so if you do hear like a little meow, it's the cat.
Yeah.
But yes, so let's talk about the episode. The cats have been introduced. Let's freaking do this. So right off the bat, the episode basically just...
Sex worker rights.
Yes, right!
Sex worker rights.
Okay.
That was the first note I made.
So yeah, that actually is the first thing. The first thing is one of Quark's prostitute. It's not really said. I think she might be a dancer girl, but her title is BOGO Girl. And that might be the name of the bar or something. I don't actually know what the name of Quark's bar is, but yeah.
It never came back to that. Like, I thought that was gonna be a plot point. Like, the writers did not use that at all. It was just like, and Quark's abusing his whores. Like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah, that is something that
we didn't
I feel
work
like,
on that?
I feel like people overlook Quark in the first season, that he's not a really good dude. Yes, he's hilarious, but he's horribly sexist, because I feel like people forget Ferengi own their wives. The wives are literally property.
I mean, that used to be for humans too. But
that it wasn't to the Ferengi's extent. Like,
maybe not to the Ferengi's extent, but did used to be property. Never mind, guys. This is the sexism podcast with Liz. No, sorry. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Women, am I right?
So, if you can't tell, we are a little bit...
Will graduate from the University of Phoenix.
So if you are not 18 and up, get out!
He likes older women.
Damn right. Don't worry. We'll get into that. So yeah, sex worker rights happen, and then...
Never came back to it.
It does mention Quark in that episode, and then
that was a bigger like story piece for the season.
I feel like that's gonna come
episode.
I feel like that's gonna come back up. I just knowing Quark, I feel like it's gonna get to a point where Siska's gonna have to have like an HR meeting with Quark.
Oh man,
like, this is what you do for a woman. This is what you don't do for a woman. But anyway.
Quark's like, the clitoris is a myth. I don't know what you're talking about, Siska.
Okay, we are a minute in, so I guess we can't be just talking about the clitoris.
Yeah, that's fine.
But,
anyways, I wrote
YouTube
down...
doesn't check their content.
I wrote down Quark pulling his shit.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that was Quark abusing his horse. Okay.
Uh-oh. The treble's making noise on the brig.
Oh, God.
You're about to get thrown in the brig.
Insane. Get him.
Take care of him. But yeah, basically it just starts kind of right off the bat into the action. Other than the BOGO Girl thing, the wormhole just instantly opens, and out comes this new ship with this new alien that I really like the design for. The alien is really nice, and right off the bat I could tell I could like him.
He looks like there was a lizard people on Doctor Who that he looks like.
Yeah, he's less scaly, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. The lesbian lizard.
Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot she was a lesbian. Anyways.
Yeah.
I would not want to look down there. Anyways.
Ew. That didn't need to be mentioned.
But so anyways, he comes back, his ship, he flies out of the wormhole. They don't know what's going on, what it is, but their job is to watch the wormhole, and so they
Your job is to watch this wormhole. Sorry.
No, but they get a tractor beam on his ship, convince him to let them teleport him and get his ship saved and him aboard and the ship fixed. And they changed the meeting procedure.
Oh, yeah.
O'Brien went to go fix him. What the fuck is the normal meeting procedure?
Okay, so, yeah, it's kind of weird that an engineer is going down to meet with a new alien species, but I will remind you, this guy did serve with Picard. And I think Sisko took that into account, because O'Brien was there for a lot of Picard's stuff. So, probably picked up some notes. And there was this really sweet... I'll touch on the first episode really quick, then I'll get back onto this episode. But there's this very sweet moment where Picard says goodbye to O'Brien, and I thought it was very sweet that, it was shown that they had some sort of relationship. Like, of course you're going to have a relationship with the guy who's teleporting you to missions all the time.
Yeah,
like, that makes sense that you would just, naturally like that guy. And I really think... Maybe it was the writers. Maybe it was pure coincidence. Maybe they just wanted the Scottish guy to interact with the Lizard Man. But I truly think they picked O'Brien because O'Brien was, serving with Picard. So that was my
I just
logic.
Was thinking they're gonna send the nerdy guy.
Yeah.
Down and to go. He's not intimidating.
Immediately.
Nothing about O'Brien is intimidating. Yeah. He's got soft lines.
So the weird part of this is they're treating this very naturally. Like O'Brien's just like, oh, how you doing? That's not even close to O'Brien, but he's just like, hey.
It was more like, oh, how you doing?
Oh God, you just peaked the mic.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll fix that in editing.
You'll fix it in editing.
There's going to be a loud bleep or something. All right. So O'Brien just immediately violates the Prime Directive, which I know has been kind of just already violated at this point. I mean, they already just kind of threw it out the window.
What's violating the Prime Directive about O'Brien just...
So he walks in and immediately opens the thing. He has no idea what that could be. That could pop out a bomb. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, even for space station standards, you don't walk into somebody's thing just immediately.
That is because there's so many rules at work.
But here's the other thing. There's no one in the ship. Remember? Because he's spoilers, but he's a chameleon. He hides and he scares.
Not spoilers. We're talking about the episode.
True.
By the way, guys, there's spoilers for this episode. So if you have not seen this episode,
this is a really good joke that you're taking up.
Thank you. If you don't want spoilers, watch the episode first. Okay.
I'm about to cut your mic. all right. But back to the episode. I don't know. I don't know what is and what isn't Prime Directive. It really changes from show to show. Because Voyager, I think, basically said fuck the Prime Directive because they just kind of work with the board.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say what little bit I did see of Voyager, they're kind of fucked anyways.
That
might take into account. They're like, hey, we're not gonna see any of our fucking family or anybody ever again. Jesus Christ. That's
they are gonna make it. It's just what
I was gonna. Well, yeah, but they're gonna be an entirely different group of people when they.
Actually, there's an episode where Janeway makes it. She's very old. She makes it. Yeah. It ends up being a hallucination. Okay, this isn't the Voyager podcast. It's the Deep Space Nine podcast.
Okay, but see, what I was going to say, there's a whole bunch of rules at work that everybody's like, yeah you're supposed to follow it, but like, and if you're doing something by yourself and none of your coworkers are around, you just do it. I think that's what O'Brien was doing. He was just like, man, all right, nobody's fucking here. What's going on?
Kirk was like the only one who like really followed it, and I feel like if
Kirk the OG.
Yeah, the OG. But in Kirk's not defense, but like the writers loved Kirk, so anytime he took the high ground, like anytime he took his stance, it was the right choice. With this, it's a little different because on one hand, well, we gotta get to the episode. But yeah, sorry. Dude just rips open the thing, and he says it's a plasma ejector, I think. Dude has natural camo. O'Brien gets concussion. Oh yeah, immediately scares O'Brien, smacks him at the back of the head.
He doesn't smack him in the back of the head. Well, no. He gets scared.
Yeah, he gets scared. He jumps up and it smacks the back of his head. It looked painful. I gotta say, but he looks at the plasma ejectors and
the plasma ejector. I don't know if you guys know, but AJ doesn't know cars, and so he doesn't know what a plasma ejector actually
There's no
is,
plasma ejector in a Subaru. Okay,
it's because you drive a fucking Subaru. Anyways,
at least I have a car. Anyway, so.
Dude, Nugget's going fucking insane.
Oh my god, I thought someone was knocking. That was crazy. Oh, that scared me. We have a crazy friend at the moment, so that kind of actually unnerved me. But yeah, he says there's plasma ejectors. He rips open this vent, says there's plasma ejectors, and it's just two sirens.
That's exactly what that is.
And you know what? God damn it. I love Star Trek being cheap. It's my favorite part of the show when it's cheap. Because, like...
I mean, it really shows that just good writing is it. I laughed at the two sirens.
I laughed at the two sirens and then immediately forgot it. Because this is another thing I added. O'Brien and the actor who plays Tosk have great chemistry.
Yeah.
Like... I'm surprised they haven't been in a movie together. They're so naturally good with each other. And I looked this up. He shows up in no more episodes, which is like so confusing.
You also said that they were going to have another episode where, well, not specifically that actor, but just they were going to have like another run-in with the species. And, that they were gonna, like, it was planned, they were gonna do another episode, and then the contacts were too hard on the actor.
Too hard on the actor, yeah.
After they filmed that one, they were like,
this is actually the second time that's happened to me in this timeline, because I was a really big fan of Nightcrawler in X-Men 2.
Yeah.
And he didn't show up in X-Men 3, because the makeup and the contacts were too much. And I guess just at that time, prosthetics weren't what they are now.
Well, I mean, at the time now, CGI is, and the video effects and such, you can use
CGI in a mixture with prosthetics, which I think is the best way to use CGI, FYI. But, moving on to the episode. O'Brien immediately lies about a law.
Nerd. Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah, he says, you can't scare a guy. That's an Alpha Quadrant law. Or he says a rule or a law, but, like...
No, he says it's illegal in the Alpha Quadrant.
Oh, yeah. Just a crazy thing to say to an alien. You can't scare people. That'll get you arrested. That's a crazy thing.
Dude, he's never been here. Like, you can't...
You can't tell him that. And then he goes, I am Tosk. And you know what? Groot and him have the best I am quotes ever. Well, and Iron Man.
I was going to say that.
But yeah, O'Brien lies about that law. He says, I am Tosk. And thing I want to add, new alien is fucking awesome and weird and adorable. And I've already said this, which he was seen after. And he looks a lot like a Sile, which are like the snake creatures, and the Jem'Hadar, not the Jem'Hadar. Which I have a theory about the Jem'Hadar when we get to them, but I don't want to spoil anything for Liz.
Okay, yeah.
So I will make a note of that, and in later episodes, we'll be mentioning this. But also, I changed my microphone setting, so you guys should be hearing me in both earphones if you're listening in the earphones. But do you have anything to add to that scene, I guess?
I think O'Brien was the best guy to go greet him because he's just so...
Yeah, O'Brien's awesome.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so... the way Tosks are acting are, like, very autistic coded, which I feel like... a lot of Star Trek aliens do that. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It's very different for each alien, too. So it's not just like, weird for weird's sake. It's genuinely endearing. It's like a foreign person coming to America for the first time. Going to a McDonald's for the first time, and they're like, whoa, this is a lot of food. But... It's cute, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes. It is really cute. There are parts of autism that people find endearing or cute, and
well, yeah. I mean,
I was gonna say every like Sherlock Holmes, Sheldon Cooper, what is her name? Brennan from Bones. They're all autistic coded.
Some are better than others.
Because they're just smart people. It's autistic traits are taken a lot to give to characters sometimes to make them like cute or whatever.
But yeah, no, I really do like it. You rarely get to see aliens like interact with humans for the first time. Usually when you see aliens, they're already established in that world, and I'm going to use Next Generation as an example, but Picard will be like, "Oh, hello there! It's the Dweeble Dwabs," and the Dweeble Dwabs are like, "You're on our property," and like
we are the Dweeble Dwabs.
We are the Dweeble Dwabs. but yeah, and then the Dweedle Dwabs do like a whole bunch of shit on the ship, but it's very endearing because A, he doesn't mean any harm. B, he never comes back for like revenge at all, which I know they wanted to do that, but it never happens. And then 3, even though he's acting very autistic coded, it's obvious this dude's hiding something like from the get-go. He's just like, they're just like, hey, so what do you do for a living? I am Tosk. No, that's not what we asked though. But before they went to the bar, I forgot to add this. They were like, I think, working on a ship, and O'Brien uses the term piece of cake, and he goes, I actually don't need to eat cake. I have enzymes in my body that feed me. And O'Brien's like, no, it's a saying. Which seems to be a trend for like...
Oh, no. That was, he showed him his room and showed him the food replicator. Was like, are you hungry?
Mm.
And then was like, oh, well, this. And then piece of cake, he was naming like parts of the engine off and then went like plasma enforcer.
Oh.
Like force field injector. And then piece of cake.
I didn't catch that. That's actually really funny.
Tosk was like, is that what you call it? You guys don't call that like an alternator? That's
piece
a piece
of cake.
All right,
okay,
got
I see.
it. And then O'Brien was like, no. What?
He's like, no, that's an old saying.
Yeah.
But then Hold on.
Then
yeah, so then the bar scene happens, and then Quark like walks away, and I'm thinking the Ferengi ain't gonna like the Tosk if they ever make diplomatic connections. The Ferengi probably aren't gonna like the Tosk that much.
Well, I would think actually the Ferengi would love the Tosk because if they sell to both sides.
Well, weapon dealers
that's the
might,
perfect.
but Quark wouldn't probably.
That's the perfect. They would always be making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then it kind of cuts back up to the brig, or bridge, not brig. They're not all in jail. But they're all talking. Dr. O'Brien's just like, yeah, I mean, he's a pretty good dude. He's running from something, sure, but like he means no harm to anybody. Like he has been legitimately only ever nice. Sorry again for the cut, ladies and gentlemen. My battery was low. But what was I saying? I'm sorry, I lost track because I had to do that. Yeah, we're working out the nuts and bolts, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with us. I promise these episodes will get better.
We were talking about Quark could just sell to both sides and always be making money.
Right. Believe me, that'll come up later. But they're all talking up on the bridge, and Sisko and Dax and Kira, Odo, and O'Brien are all talking. And Dr. Bashir's like working on something, kind of like in the background.
Oh my god!
And
dude,
he's talking with like the main cast, and then Dr. Bashir, who for some reason isn't in this episode that much, he's just like,
well, I mean,
people usually tell the doctors, more things. So if you could get him to come down to, the doctor's office, maybe I could look at him. O'Brien completely just ghosts him, and it's just like, yeah. So anyway, he's not talking to me. I felt bad for that guy.
Dude,
that was I didn't know they could show murder on TV because that was crazy.
That was gonna be a whole nother episode. Like that could have.
Dr. Bashir and O'Brien fight outside Quark's Brawl.
We could have gone
drunk.
through, like it could have just taken a left turn and gone like a whole different route. Would have had different like moral of the story and everything.
Hey, can I talk to you for a sec?
Just different.
O'Brien, what the fuck's going on, man? What are you talking about? What was that?
He just cold cuts him, just like, and then like everybody was just like, nope. And I don't know what purpose it served in the script other than fuck Brashears.
Yeah.
Like I don't. But I think it's supposed to be the O'Brien Tosk buddy episode, so fuck Brashears.
I mean, Bashir likes to get involved in things he's really not involved in, so maybe that was the point of him doing that. But anywho, Sisko and Dax are kind of cruel in this episode when they talk with O'Brien. O'Brien's like, yeah, I don't think he means harm. And immediately they're like, okay, then what is he running from? And he's like, yeah, well, that's the thing, sir. I don't know. And Sisko and Dax are both like, well, if he doesn't tell you, I mean, tell him to get the fuck out of our space station.
See,
I was like, oh my gosh.
That's the thing is O'Brien's the only guy that went down to actually face to face like talk to him.
Yeah.
First contact. He's the only person that experienced that, and so he's really the only guy that gets it.
And then it cuts to I think O'Brien leaves, and then it cuts to this painting in the hallway, and I believe Tosk walks in front of it. It pans over. He's trying to get into a weapons locker.
He's hacking the weapons.
He's hacking weapons. Yes. And Odo is the painting. He T-1000 goos down and then comes up and is like, "What do you think you're doing?" And immediately Tosk does a stance and basically holds his arms up like he's going roar. And
that's what you have to do to turn invisible.
To turn invisible, yeah. It's something humans haven't discovered yet.
Why, but they follow that throughout the episode.
It's a constant thing.
He just goes, huh!
It's a constant thing.
And
so
gets ready. But anyways, Odo.
Yeah, Odo gets him, and
Odo is the best.
Surprisingly, Odo actually is kind of goated in this episode. He is the most reasonable person taking care of this situation, because we're about to learn that this culture is fucking insane. Even by Star Trek standards, this is crazy. So, but I can't say it yet. He immediately turns invisible, and then he's like, hey, guys, turn on the force fields down here. The force fields turn on, they trap him. And Odo actually talks to him. He doesn't, keep him there and then interrogate him. Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm willing to talk to you one-on-one about what this was about, but you got to be honest with me, and also you got to promise you're not going to, swing on me or swing on one of my, soldiers. And Tosk is like, okay, I won't fight you. And he keeps his goddamn word, which is another honor-bound race in Star Trek. First we had the Andorians, then we had the Klingons, and now we have the Tosks, which we will have more races like that.
Because honor is a real big thing to these guys.
Yes.
It plays later into the episode.
Mm-hmm. It does. But I was thinking halfway through this episode, I was like, where the fuck is Kira? Because she was like a rebel during the Cardassian occupation.
You know what?
I thought she'd have more to say this episode.
She's not really in this episode.
She makes a couple... She does help out at the end. I will bring that up. But I was like, halfway through this, I was like, are there cut scenes with Kira? Because this feels like... I feel like O'Brien and Kira should have both helped Tosk. But then again, I think the last episode was a Kira episode.
She just fucked off.
I don't know.
She had other shit.
She was having an off day.
This happened on her day off.
No, she was still in the office. Remember, she was still in the episode.
If you're on, you're always fucking in the office when you're.
No, she was just playing. She was in a really, really, really competitive game with Odo, in Words with Friends. And Odo's one of those people who's like a natural speller with any letters he has, and does it in 5 seconds. She has to take an hour to find out the perfect letters and stuff. So that's mainly what she was doing the whole time.
She just wasn't a part of the story.
She was in a competitive game of Words with Friends. That is canon. Put that in the wiki. But sorry about the can noises. I am drinking a Docky P.
Docky P.
A Docky P. But Tosk is a man of his word. Respect. I'd already brought all those up. But then, bum, 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 the wormhole opens. And another ship comes out. It's the Hunters.
Well, hold on. There was more...
What'd I miss?
Cisco, remember, he is put into the brig, right?
Oh, yeah.
He gets put into the brig, and they're all talking about what are we gonna do with this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking to him a bit, and Cisco is like, "You've ruffled some feathers and done some shit. Listen, you gotta sit in the corner for a second until we figure it out." And
he's like, "Tell us what's going on."
He was like, "Do you plan on hurting us, or do you plan on?" I don't remember what it was. What do you plan on doing with these weapons? And he was almost offended.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I am Tosk." And again, looked at him like, "What, you idiot?"
You're noticing...
it's more honor. Honor.
You're noticing some things I didn't notice. And I think that's really cool. I would just like to point that out.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, I forgot about the prison thing. O'Brien's shockingly quiet till like the very last scene of that, and then he goes down to the bar and sulks.
Yes.
But he talks with Tosk for a bit, and he's like, "Dude, like, let me know what's going on. I'm on your side, man. Like, you don't seem like a bad person at all. I'm on your side. Like, what do I need to do?" And Tosk is like, "I can't tell you, man. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And he goes down. What does he do?
Well,
actually?
I guess Tosk must be such a like self-reliant species that like they can't like because there's some sort of oath where they can't tell people that they're running.
Yeah, they have a vow of secrecy. I think they say. Yes, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
I guess it adds to the challenge.
We'll talk about that in a minute because bump 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 bump. The hunters have arrived. They come in this really cool ship. It's purple, I think, or it's black, and the lighting's weird. That's something in Star Trek.
The tractor beam was purple.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's the important detail.
Excuse me, I just belched. But the hunters are like spraying radiation at them. I don't think that works. It makes the station shake a bit, but as far as I know, everybody's okay. Then they try to beam it. They scan it, and Cisco's like, "Hey, well, let them scan it. Like, we'll let them scan it."
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't know what that radiation was, but I have a theory that the hunter race could only breathe that in. And that's why he took the helmet off, is because he's like, oh, I can breathe with this. If this is in the system, I can...
I was thinking it was just like you know, if you got to get a hold of an animal to look at it, you hold... Like, if you have to give your dog a pill or something, you hold their collar.
Yeah. Like,
I thought that purple beam was just them holding them. Like, okay, stay the hell here. All right, now what's going on? And, like, scanning them.
You can't really do that to a space
beam?
station, but they probably didn't know it was a space station.
I was going to say, but to them, it's, like, impressive that they're doing that to a whole space station. And O'Brien later in the episode talked about how impressive the technology was with the tractor beams, like being able to scan through things.
Yeah.
And that is just so, I guess that this species is just so dedicated to the hunt.
The hunt, yes.
That...
But first we have to introduce the hunters.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I guess if you've seen the episode, this isn't really a spoiler, but what happens is, pew, 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 they teleport in. They look like Power Rangers. I'm just going to say it. They look like Power Rangers.
Dude.
I played the Power Rangers theme when they came in. But
Power Ranger hunters.
Yeah, what we learn basically, even just looking at their outfits and looking at what they shoot with this like bow and arrow laser thing that is like one-handed. It's one of the coolest designs for a weapon I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's just like if you held a bow and arrow without like the drawback hand and you just held it.
Yeah.
Swine around, like just pointed at things.
It's odd, but it's a cool design and I like that.
I guess.
Basically they're all fighting. And again, Odo is the GOAT. He's like, they're not taking my prisoner. If they wanted to go through the right routes, they've lost that privilege. They are now firing upon us because the hunters immediately fire upon them. And yeah, then everybody... A firefight starts.
And see, that is where the audience may have not like wanted to like oh man, Odo's being kind of a jerk to this new guy. Like, no, he's still being an asshole to the hunters too. Like, he just doesn't like disorganization on his ship or on his station at all. Just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't being mean earlier. He was just being Mr. Mosby.
Yeah.
He was just.
But yeah, then the hunters, they find Tosk, and he is in a cell, and he's like, "What, dude? He's like, what the heck? I thought this was the hunt. These guys were fighting us.
Yeah.
And we thought, hey, this is a good fight. I was excited to see where this is going. But you're caged up. This is stupid. So you're not even gonna fight. You're just gonna stand there, invisible. And he's still doing the stance. And he's invisible, and then he turns uninvisible, and he's just looking at them. And the hunter, I think, takes off his mask at this point, and they look really cool. They're like almost feline-ish.
I was gonna say they look is similar. It's just one is like dark green, the other one's lime.
Are they similar?
They look similar. Like they have the same nose.
Oh no! They say
they're lizard people.
That's true, but I think they're both like different races because they say they genetically engineered the Tosk.
One's a tortoise and one's a turtle.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I actually like that. That's a good way to describe that. But Cisco comes up to the hunter and he's like, "Is this whole thing's a hunt to you?" And the hunter just looks it down and up. Bro is flirting with Cisco at this point. And then he goes, "Yeah, this Tosk was not worthy for a man like you." And I swear to God, Careless Whisper started playing.
Dude,
because he was. I don't mean to like gay code a character. I could see the argument with that one.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. But yeah, that happens, and everything is kind of spilled. The Tosk are genetically engineered by the hunters. The hunters basically hunt the Tosk, but the Tosk aren't like victims. This is a honor thing. Like their whole lives have been leading up to the moment where they are hunted.
They celebrate it.
They love it. So it's not a criminal. It's almost like a game, but it's like a ceremony too.
The hunters love it as much, and it's like a cooperative system that they have.
It's very symbiotic in
it's
the
weird.
weirdest way.
They both volunteer for it. Mm-hmm. They both want to do it.
It's almost like a religious rite, kind of. Like that's what it seems like.
But Cisco, I guess he thinks about it and he's like, well, I guess this is a new species. This is all like it would be in violation of the Prime Directive.
Yeah, and he's like, let's figure this out in my office. Takes him to his office, and I have to say, I'm gonna not spoil anything, but I'm gonna bring up something. This plot line is very similar, especially with the genetic engineering, to a storyline later in the seasons, and I'm wondering if these guys are connected in any way with them. Again, we'll get to those episodes, but bro, I have a feeling that the writers were either really, really smart and like kind of told a story without showing it, or if this is just a coincidence and they liked the idea so much that they just turned it into a different storyline. But yeah. Sorry, go on. That was a tangent.
No. I was done with my tangent. Next thing that happened.
That happens is O'Brien basically... Oh, no. Kira finally speaks up and is like, you could ask him to, claim sanctuary. And O'Brien's like, oh, right, we can do that. There was a whole episode about that with the Bajoran.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a thing you can do.
So he goes to ask.
Yeah.
Or not ask, but like, hey, dude, I got a way out for you. Because O'Brien doesn't quite understand it yet either.
My notes say he doesn't go for asylum, instead taking the shame. He'd rather be a failure than a coward. Poor fucking Tosks, dude. Like, I know they were bred for this, and, like, this is their lives, but again, like, you would think maybe there would be one out there that's like, I don't want this life. I think that would be a very interesting thing to explore.
That would be. I was going to say, what would happen if he was forced to stay on the station and Cisco was like, no, he's mine. And
he joins the cast? That'd be
what
awesome.
would happen? How would that Tosk deal with that? Would they, like...
Ooh, that's dark. She made a cutthroat
like,
motion.
I don't know, man. What would they do?
Klingons are known to do that if they're dishonored. So it's... Some races would rather be dead than dishonored. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But O'Brien... the last thing he says to him before he goes down to the bar is, "Thank you, O'Brien." He still thinks his name is O'Brien, not O'Brien. O'Brien. That's how he says O'Brien.
That.
He goes, "Goodbye, O'Brien." But he goes down. He sulks, and this is where I start liking Quark. Because, like him or not, he accidentally brings the solution to a lot of characters. Because his mind is so unique and different to all the other races.
He's trying to
capitalize, but he accidentally helps them.
Yeah.
And there are, running
broken
theories that Quark maybe meant to do that. But
broken clocks right twice a day.
Exactly. At least. So... Quark points out the rules of the said game, and he's like, "Oh my god, Quark, you're a genius!" And he immediately goes over to, like, this drunk guy, and he's like, "Wow, that seems to be the problem."
Yeah, like...
And I really wish we never saw what happened to Tosk, and we just followed him for the rest of the time, and he just goes up to random customers, starts trying to be their therapist.
Dude, yeah, he's just like, he wants to be... I was gonna say, that's the only thing about... Ferengi that I've seen that's like kind of redeemable is like he does want to provide good customer service.
He loves customers.
He does.
He's a very different Ferengi. A lot of Ferengi don't want to deal with customers. That's why a lot of them do weapons dealing and ship dealing and.
Well, it's easier to capitalize on something that you don't have to know like ins and outs and little details about.
Oh, selling guns, yeah. But when you're a bartender,
yeah,
you have to learn. People.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Quark, I think, in my opinion, one of the best Ferengi. Give him time, he will redeem himself. He is a very good character.
Yeah, okay. I'll give him time, it's alright. But
at this point of the episode, when O'Brien goes to...
He said, O'Brien... Quark was going to say, like, oh, well, the rules are always up to interpretation of any game. And O'Brien said, that's it. I can change the rules.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes... And
Okay, so O'Brien, in Army terminology, went AWOL for like a solid 15 minutes. Like, he does everything in his power to get fired. Yeah, he does what he believes is right, and honestly, I think that was for the best.
I think that's why Cisco sent him down there in the first place, because he knows that O'Brien's a good soldier, period.
No, because O'Brien's he's an engineer, he's not a soldier.
Well, no, but I mean, like, personality and ethics-wise.
True.
Like, he's going, I trust you, man.
In my opinion, he is the most moral character in the show, aside from maybe... Yeah, I think he's the best morally. Other than maybe Nog, and Nog hasn't gotten to the point where he joined Starfleet yet.
I think Quark has the best morals.
Oh,
no.
But he goes up to Odo and he's like, "This is a Starfleet matter. I will take them. I will escort them." And Odo's like, and he leaves and he goes pouts to Cisco.
He just goes and shits his pants.
It's at this point I'm realizing the hunters are really, really awesome. However, this captain's kind of stupid. walks with O'Brien, which Tosk has like a leash on him.
Yeah.
And they're walking, and then immediately O'Brien just whacks him and stuns him. And what?
It was he messed with the door. Remember the weapons thing?
Right.
He messed with the door and made it where he could not pass with weapons. And so he was like, you up? And nope, you can't get past the door. And he got and shot back. And then O'Brien punched him because he got him caught off guard.
Mm.
And there were people in the background. Like, people just saw, like, the chief engineer punch a guy.
I swear, Deep Space Nine had to be the best place to work.
Dude.
Like, especially in that season 1. Later on, it's very warlike and it's a nightmare. But as of right now, it seems like a very nice place to actually like hang out.
Now.
But the hunters are actually really fucking awesome. This guy's a little stupid, but Tosk starts to show that his genetic engineering in his body is natural. He wasn't fighting back before, but now that O'Brien has kind of broken him out and sees that he actually has support, he starts fighting back. He takes all 3 of them down. Like, immediately. He uses his camouflage, he jumps, he's super agile, and takes them all down. And then the hunter...
He does a spin move.
He does a spin move.
All 3 of them in the face all at the same time, and they go... Oh.
It's true, that happens.
Yeah.
But he... Oh, God. I had a thought. Oh, yeah. They vent. They among us. They among us. Yeah. They were literally venting. And they were talking about how they were venting. And I was thinking about this. The hunters alone, they're not part of Starfleet. They're not part of like a coalition that we know of.
Mm-hmm.
They're on par with Starfleet. Except maybe ship technology. Their guns blast through.
I was gonna say they're like I brought up earlier. They are advanced in some ways. In some ways, maybe they're behind, but they have been developing this skill very dearly.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think. Yeah. Sorry. My brain was like, yeah, you're not gonna talk now.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I know. I was downing some Dr. Pepper while she was talking. I apologize. But
they. Oh.
Yeah, they're really.
He gets knocked back down, and then they run away, and the hunter rolls over, and he gets on like the walkie-talkie, and he goes, "The hunt is back on."
Well, yeah. That was before they got into the vent. He's like, "The hunt is on," and then the 2 people with masks on, we never see their faces. But they just like, oh, they hunt's on.
That's weird that they hunt in groups of 3, but
so I have a theory about that. I think since they're from the Gamma Quadrant, and like all those races are very either spiritual or loyal or honor bound or religious in some aspect. Fruity?
Yeah.
The Tosk were created. And the hunters were created as like a creed. They're almost like crusaders, in a way. They're
like the assassins of the Templars.
I mean, if you want to be gay, yeah. No, I'm kidding. We like gay people.
I'm fond of gay people.
Yeah. Well, I think no one on this couch is straight.
Oh man, I was really hoping Nugget was still sitting up here.
No, she's a lesbian, dude.
She's gay.
Yeah, she's gay, dude.
She's gay like us.
Okay. So, yeah, I think the hunters are more of a creed. And I think Nugget joins them. And this hunter is stupid. They have them basically cornered. All 3 of them could have opened fire and probably gotten Tosk. Instead, that commander is like, no, he's mine. And then Tosk shoots him just immediately. And all three of them blow up.
Whenever the villain has, like, too long of a speech, and then the hero's like, well, I got out of your restraints, so, like, get good.
Yeah.
Like, that happened. And then also, Tosk, like, shot, like, a, like, lightning bolt or, like, something.
That shit was crazy.
Like,
that was a grenade.
It looked like they all were like, we're gonna stand all straight down this hallway in the perfect formation.
Yeah.
Like a target.
They're literally in a straight... The two of them are in front of the commander, and the commander is behind them, and then he gets in front of them, and I think Tosk shoots him, and he shoots him back to the wall, and that also takes down the other two.
Yeah.
Which I think they're... All three of them are dead. Unless, like, next episode begins with them in the infirmary, which I don't think this episode is ever brought up.
Do they get assigned different hunters, or does another hunter find them? What happened if Tosk never knew he went into a wormhole and was just running from no one?
That is something I brought up. Star Trek is lacking in content right now. In my opinion. I think Discovery is shit. I think Picard was shit up until season 3. And then I really actually like Strange New Worlds. I'm very harsh on Star Trek. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing anybody who like created the shows or anything, because I'm going into that business. I don't want to like make any bad blood. Discovery's not my thing. I'm sure people like it for other reasons. It's just not my cup of tea. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, that's okay. You know, like that's just my opinion. But off of that,
it really proved that he didn't deserve to kill Tosk in the first place.
Yes.
He was not going to give Tosk the honor. And so he was like, this Tosk came to us fucking caged. Like, come on. He got too cocky, and then he did that. Like
a real chameleon, he didn't show his true colors. Yeah. So, what I was saying earlier, make a Tosk spinoff. Have him go to different places throughout the universe, different bases of Starfleet. Maybe he meets a new alien race, and then eventually maybe he meets back up with O'Brien.
Yeah,
and make it animated so you don't have to have him, put on the makeup. I mean, good Lord, that would be an amazing cartoon. You don't even have to call it Star Trek. Call it Tosk, a Star Trek story. And just make it animated, make it a show for like young or older kids, like kind of like teens. That shit would go hard.
See, I was gonna say that there is sort of a poetry in the simplicity and the fact that we only see them once.
Yeah, but like, Tosk is so likable that I don't want to see him once. Like, and I'm not the only one. Like, the internet, apparently, that is the #1 Deep Space Nine question. Where's Tosk? Because people love Tosk. I don't blame him. He's an awesome character.
He was pretty cool.
I haven't watched all of season 1 yet.
See, it just proves that there's so much to discover and so much to... They're never going to stop running into new things.
Yeah.
And sometimes that little tiny thing you ran into in the past that made you happy, you're never going to see that again. Enjoy it.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't like loose ends, I guess is my thing. And Star Trek does a really good job with bringing characters back a lot of the time. I mean, look at the Mirror Universe, for Christ's sakes. That's a constant thing that keeps happening throughout the series. We love the Mirror Universe. In this household, we stand the Mirror Universe episodes.
In the Mirror Universe, Nugget is a...
Klingon.
Golden Retriever. No, she is a... Golden Lab. Ma'am.
Get her on the mic. I think that...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, alright. So my cat's getting spayed after I get paid on the 15th. We're finally spaying this horny cat. But till then, you're gonna have to listen to Nugget.
Nugget's a part of the podcast.
Nugget, yes.
No.
Do you have anything to say about this episode, Nugget?
Meow. In the mirror universe, Nugget is a golden lab, and she's like a service animal. Like, she is specially trained, and she's super smart.
She's a gorilla, dude.
She is super. No, what do you mean? This cat right here. This is a gorilla.
Well, in the mirror universe, so she's a tribble in
This
our
is
fake universe.
A gremlin.
In the mirror universe, she's a Gorn.
This is not a cat.
Okay, we're gonna get off Nugget now.
Anyway, sorry.
So O'Brien could have lost his job, and did that for Tosk. That was a huge thing, and I think that's the reason I want to see Tosk again, is because like he obviously meant a lot to O'Brien, and like who doesn't want to see O'Brien happy and actually, have it almost felt like he was his son, because he was like, yeah, I adopted him. Like,
yeah, that was something I wrote down from earlier in the episode. Cisco was like, somebody needs to tell him to ask for asylum, and they chose O'Brien again to do it. But they get back to, or they're walking through.
Ow. Like it just fell.
Nugget.
And
girl, it can't be about you.
Yeah, God,
Like,
I know.
actually,
she is a menace on this podcast. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
But they're going through the tunnels and the vents. They're venting, and they don't run into any fields or anything. And there's sort of like a scene change over to where Cisco and Odo are talking about, like, oh
right,
no,
I forgot about
they're
this.
gonna get to the ship. And
Well,
then
Odo's
they're
like,
away.
Odo's
the
like,
prime directive.
Odo's still like, I can't, stupid Starfleet, and he's like, I can't believe you would fucking do that, Cisco. Like, I had that shit under control. You did not have to send O'Brien down there. And Cisco's like, I'd send O'Brien down there.
Yeah.
And Odo's like, uh-oh. And he's like, O'Brien, you down there? And it shows his pin that he just kind of threw.
Yeah.
So they couldn't track him or anything like that. And basically they're all like, well, we got to go get him. Odo, there's no hurry. And he does this hilarious thing where he acts like the slowest climb up the stairs. If I'm putting this on YouTube, I'm going to put the clip up. I'm going to put a couple clips up during this, but I want this clip up. It's just Odo walking slowly up the stairs.
So long.
And then he turns around, and then he walks some more, and then he kind of just leans on the elevator, and then he tells the elevator go. Like, he's taking his time. Even now, I'm describing it too fast. He goes so slow. It is hilarious.
It is so good.
And
it's the only, like, a little bit uncomfortable shot where it's like, okay, and he's on the elevator. All right.
Right. Thank you.
Like,
Thank you for bringing up that scene.
Like, it's a bit.
Thank you for bringing up that scene. I forgot about that scene. But I can't believe I almost forgot about that scene.
But it kind of again. Odo doesn't care about. He just cares about his space station. And since this matter doesn't really concern his space station, it shows his morals a little bit, because he, in the fight between a hunter or prey, there was literally no implications on his space station, he chose the prey to help the prey and not the hunter.
Oh, Liz, you're gonna like his episodes when we get to them.
Okay.
Hey, you're already noticing this about Odo. I can't wait till it's confirmed to you, because it's great. It's awesome that you're noticing.
Is Odo
this.
gay?
No, he actually has a crush on Kira.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's developed yet, but that is something that happens.
I mean, who doesn't have a crush on Kira?
I mean,
strong woman.
Okay.
All right.
So it cuts to the ship, and they have it fixed. It's ready for him to go, and he's like, "Are you coming with me, Mr. O'Brien?" And O'Brien's like, "I have a kid. I have a wife. I need to stay here. I have a job." And he's like, "Well, is your captain gonna kill you?" And he's like, "Oh no, he'll chew me. He'll chew me out. I've been chewed out."
He chill.
It's like the Inglourious Bastard scene. "You'll get shot for this." Nah, more like chewed out. I've been chewed out before. But yeah, I thought he was going to be witty when O'Brien said goodbye, but
I was gonna say this species knows no jokes. Another autism trait. I don't.
The Tosk basically goes, does the classic, I don't even know what you call it, arm on the chest, and then he says,
salute.
O'Brien, O'Brien, die with honor. And he says, die with honor, Tosk.
Oh my god.
And I really liked that exchange.
That is something we skipped over because the importance of die with honor, because there is at one point when sorry, the cat was doing something weird. There is one point when he is stuck in the jail cell, and he is just pleading with O'Brien, but he can't really plead for his life. And so he's like, "Please allow me to die with honor. You guys need to release me." And they didn't. And then, because that is really all that Tosk knows is, like, the hunt and the run and the, he gives that to O'Brien, and he says, "O'Brien, die with honor."
Yeah, it's great. And the episode concludes with O'Brien and Sisko talking. And this clip is the reason I love Sisko. Because before the war, before everything goes to shit on Deep Space Nine, he really does care about his crew. And he cares about O'Brien. O'Brien wasn't even his crew. He knew Dax. He got to know Kira. He got to know Bashir. He's like learning everybody's, role and what they do. And I think this episode shows that, like, he likes O'Brien. He genuinely thinks he probably knows that O'Brien probably has the highest moral compass out of anybody on that station.
He's the sweetest little teddy bear.
I love O'Brien, man. I know some of the episodes that come up are the Torture O'Brien episodes, and those are a rough watch, I'm not going to lie, because you're going to watch O'Brien...
Oh, no.
Yeah. Better to warn you here, though.
Okay.
But O'Brien's just like, sir, you could have caught me at any point. Why? And he's just like, well, I guess, that's something we overlooked. AKA, dude, I let you go. Stop asking questions.
No, it was because they weren't running into any force fields in the vent. And so he was like, well, I figured you'd throw up some, force fields and, like, block us just immediately. Like, I figured we were fooled as soon as you... And Sisko was like, huh. Well, I guess that one got past us.
I guess that's something we overlooked. I love Sisko's voice. It's tied for me with Picard's voice and Sisko's voice. Both of them are so soothing.
Sexy. No.
No, I mean, sexy
like,
voices, yeah.
I don't know about Picard, but like Sisko, I could hear that in my ear. I wouldn't mind it. Anyways.
But I guess out of 5, what would you rate this episode?
Dude, I don't know. This is like a first. Ooh. Okay,
I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna say 5. This was a I don't care. I don't care if this is considered one of the worst episodes. I really enjoyed it.
If episode 1 is considered my control group, then yeah, 5.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Okay, I guess we have a little bit of time. You want to talk about episode 1 real quick? Not that we have to go
Not
through
that
a play.
I fucking remember much of it.
I just want to go through it very briefly. I'll just hit the talking points.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I gotta be real, guys. I don't like episode 1 that much. I thought I liked it. There's a lot going on, and it is very hard to keep track of. And honestly, I don't blame people not wanting to watch Deep Space Nine after the first episode. Because it's long, and...
The first episode is a 2-parter. And so that is why it went episode 1 and then episode 3.
Yeah,
and
if you're watching it on Paramount, that's how it is. I think if you're watching it on Netflix, it should be the normal part 1, part 2.
We were like, where did episode 2 go?
We thought there was like blackface or something in it.
Yeah,
that sometimes shows through. Even in the 90s, that'll sneak its way into media.
Jesus, I don't know what the hell they did in episode 2, but they got rid of that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for listening all the way through. If you listen all the way through, thank you so freaking much.
You will
Consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button. Share this video if you have anybody who likes Star Trek or anything else on my channel, please check it out.
Or somebody who doesn't really know Star Trek that well, because I don't know it that well either. But we're gonna go through, and I'm being introduced to Star Trek, and so you come along with me. I don't know much about it either.
And I'm actually gonna watch Deep Space Nine all the way through this time, because the last time I watched Deep Space Nine, I think I started on like season 3. I don't think I've ever watched season 1. I've watched a little bit of season 2. Never got to season 1 though. So this is all new to me.
Really?
Yeah. I have. Okay, that's a lie. I have watched
so much more lore though. You know.
Well, yeah, I know what's going to happen. I know what the characters are going to experience. I just don't know how they're going to get up to that point.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope to get this out by Monday, Tuesday, and hopefully once a week we'll upload an episode, maybe. Yeah. Have a good day, and live long and fart.
Live long and prosper.
No, it's... What?
Live long and fart?
Yeah, that's what Spock says.
Okay.
Jeez, this girl... She doesn't know Star Trek at all.